Welcome back to another episode of Aunt and Andrew with Family's Everything.
Until it's not. It's Salt Lake City. Do you know it's like episode 10 or
Are
11
you
already?
you're there?
I
Oh,
am. It's
sorry, I was
snowing.
distracted by the
Don't
snow in
you
the
know
background.
all the snow we're gonna be
Yeah, the
getting?
weather's been
The
amazing.
weather outside is frightful.
Ah,
But my dear, you're so delightful.
that's not what it is.
Yeah, that's what it says. And
The
since we've
weather
no
outside.
place to go, let it
Oh
snow,
dear.
let it
Oh yeah.
snow, let it snow.
I know.
Anyways, they were camping and it was straight out of Beverly Hills
Yeah,
camp.
but no. Let's first start with Mary and
Oh
Mary,
yeah,
the
Mary,
our
Mary,
character.
Mary.
Okay, this is
Um,
like a traditional story of like you don't know what's going on. Like, you know, like you just don't know like what's like
but they
Meredith didn't
sus
know what Mary was going through.
but
Mary didn't.
Meredith did suspect something was going on,
You really think
without a
so?
doubt. She asked, she said, "Is everything okay?" She did. Mary
Okay.
asked her, is
That I'm
everything all
surprised that
right?
producers didn't gas her head up on. Because the producer team knows everything that's going on with Robert Jr. for weeks. And I feel like the producer team might be like, she's an hour late. What if something's wrong with her? You need to ask her, like, when she gets here, if something's wrong.
But
Like,
that's okay because she did seem genuinely concerned. Is
maybe.
everything okay? Listen, I might not like someone, but if I
Yeah, of course.
heard
I know
they're
what you're
in
saying. Yeah,
distress, even people I don't care for, I don't want, I wouldn't run them over in the road.
totally. I think that this is all also because Meredith thinks that Mary used her
Yeah,
because Meredith would do anything to stay on this show. Meredith
but
would
I
do
get
anything
that.
to be a star and stay in the limelight. Mary didn't care. That's why Mary left the show.
And that's why Mary is hysterical.
And
Well,
Meredith thinks that because she was friends with Mary when everyone else wasn't, that she kept her kind of relevant in the public eye. Mary didn't care about that. So Meredith thinks she did Mary a service, and Mary doesn't really look at it as a service because it didn't matter to her. Mary then thinks that she was there for Meredith throughout a lot of the problems that Meredith was having with the other women, which is true. Now the difference is that I think Meredith shared them with Mary, and Mary did hasn't shared her reality with Meredith. So it's just one of those like they're both Mary needs support right now, but isn't willing to tell Meredith, I need your support. And then
correct.
Meredith
But and I mean,
supported
I had to
Mary.
wonder, do you think that she told Angie?
I don't think so because there was that scene a couple weeks ago in the mid-season trailer where Mary is in Angie's kitchen, and I think it's next week. It must be where she's saying, "I have to focus on my family. I have a lot," and then she starts crying, and that's when I'm sure she opens up to Angie.
Okay, all right. Because I wondered when they were in the car going to camp if
No,
she had
she said she has a
shared
lot going
anything.
on, but it could
Yeah,
be something as simple as like, I don't love Robert Jr.'s girlfriend. They're not doing much. They're
his
not
wife.
motivated. They're
Yeah.
smoking pot.
You
Like,
think doing
yeah, but
gummies,
no, I
smoking
don't think they're
pot?
smoking.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think it
yeah,
has
yeah.
anything to do with gummies or smoking pot whatsoever.
No, well, we know that, but that was what she said. She knew.
Yeah.
Right.
But you
Okay.
keep
Yeah, yeah,
saying
yeah.
gummies. I'm like, a gummy makes you not want to cry about maybe the fact that you blew two tires in a week and you spent $1,200 from your savings. Okay, a gummy is not helping you forget about the fact that you're living a life as chicken unseasoned. Okay,
That was an amazing line,
I
but we're
love
gonna
that
get
analogy.
to
I'm going to
that.
use it moving
I
forward.
did it. I also think that I'm sorry, Mary is projecting a lot of her worry onto the
Oh,
women.
you
Big
think?
time. Yeah, 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 I do. And because she can't take that moment in the mirror and say, this isn't about them. I'm projecting my
Oh,
stress onto
100%.
them,
Mary's
you
bad
know?
and her behavior isn't always exemplary, but the way she acted at the Girl Scouts little thing was so unhinged. She had no filter. She went at Lisa Barlow so hard, and Lisa had nothing. There was no issue with Lisa and
No.
Mary.
I'm sorry though. She was priceless
She
at
was,
camp
but let's
talking
not get there
about.
yet. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So what are we going to talk
Well,
about?
Lisa and Angie, I'm happy they chatted. There's clearly a
Oh
real
yeah, yeah,
friendship
yeah.
there.
And they went to see the
And, all
sharks.
I got to say is, who told you that I'm not into stuffies anymore?
I know, right?
Henry, I love you, Henry.
I
You're
do
so
too.
genuine and real. Electra, you're so sweet. I will say this. Let's put something to rest. Lisa and Angie, you are both great moms.
Yes.
Your own ways and different ways. And
Right.
let me tell you something. just because Electra may not talk as much as Henry doesn't make Angie a bad mom. And just because Henry wants to play video games, maybe more than Electra does, doesn't make Lisa a bad mom. Your kids are different. Your definitions of what a mom is are different because you're different moms. And you're both good moms. Look at your kids. They're sweet,
They
humble, they
are.
have a
And
light
I
in their
would
eyes.
say,
As Caroline Manzo would say, about Danielle Staub's kids. Most kids, they get a light in their eyes. Her kids, no, they don't.
yeah,
Both
with
your kids have a light. They
her
have a light.
kids turned out well though.
Who, Danielle's? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the voice
Yeah,
of reason.
they're
Funny how that
fine.
works. Same with the Judice girls.
Yeah, yeah. Judice girls are fantastic. I
Now the
will
Gorga
say,
boys will be ripping off their business partners in 20 years because they learned from Juicy or from
Dad
Joey G.
from Joey. I will say that on this show, I'm going to give them props for what is good. You have to. Lisa's a good mom. Angie's a
Yeah,
good
kids are a
mom.
product of their environment.
Heather's
The kid
kids
that
are
I'm really
good.
worried about is little Nino over there in Jersey. He's gonna stealing patents like Marge. He's gonna be banging the house that he's renovating like Joe Bonino, and then probably get divorced like his mother and go live with a friend like his mother. So he's really got great influences in his life.
Anyways, I want to say that
Nino Bonino.
Whitney's kids,
Do you think they called her Nino because the last name's Bonino?
Whitney's kids are nice
Mind blown.
kids.
Yes,
Whitney's got
good
nice
kids.
daughter. Everybody,
They've also kept their kids
Meredith.
unless they've been older, like Brooks. And even with Brooks, like he's on the show way more than his sister.
Yeah.
Heather's kids really aren't on the show. This cast has done really good at keeping the kids out of it, unless they want to be on it, like Brooks, which I think is great. He has a brand.
Yeah,
He's
no,
not
I don't have
stupid.
a problem with that. But she is projecting a
I'd be
lot.
on the show if my mom was on. I'd want to be on.
Yes. Now the first scene with Mary of like
Oh, that's sad. That
Robert.
was fake, I think.
It doesn't matter. It's all
Yeah.
real. It
Yeah.
is real. Whether it was,
Oh no,
but
no, I think they had to I hate to say this. I think that Mary, because I thought about this after, I'm like, if Mary knew he was in there, she would knock and open, try to open. And if he's banging, doing drugs, banging the girlfriend, doing drugs, he has the door locked. So I think that they had to recreate it because I think Mary said to production, I think she had to probably, I don't think all of this, Mary doesn't strike me as the type that was like, I think my son's doing drugs, something's wrong. I want to bring awareness to it and bring it on the show. I think Mary's the type to not. And I think that Mary's behavior was unlike her, even as weird as that sounds. And I think production was like, what's going on? Do you want to talk about family stuff? What do you want to show on the show? And then I think it started to come out. And a good producer then pulls out reality from a housewife. And I think the producer
I don't
then
think it
was like,
happened that way.
I do. That's my hypothesis.
I think she was like, oh, I want to have a conversation with Robert. I don't think she expected Robert to share
Oh, no,
what
no, I know
he
that.
shared.
But I'm
That's
saying
what I'm
early
saying.
on, I'm saying way before any
They
of this.
can see, don't you think they see the kid come and go and the girlfriend's there high and they're
I'm saying, but
probably
no,
thinking,
I think that Mary tried, just like we saw early on, don't come out after. Like, I think that it was a
well,
slow
probably.
progress. I think it was
Yeah,
first, Mary
maybe.
didn't want anyone to see. That just
Okay.
like Robert Jr. didn't want his mom to see, but then things start to come out. And then I think as production started to learn, that's the hard thing. When production knows your reality, but the girls don't. That's
Yeah.
when things get dicey because we've seen producers leak things to the other women. Like they put them in these scenarios where like, and I think that's how it all went down. And I think Mary's smart. Mary's like, as she started to show Robert on the TV show and she started to see, oh, he doesn't look right. And then she's probably started to uncover things on her own that he was on something. And it could have just been, I think she was hoping it was just pot.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, definitely. She
But it
was in
came out. So
denial
she
about
shows up to
it.
the Girl
Yeah.
Scout party completely like in a bad place.
In a
This
bad place,
Girl
but
Scout party showed us why we love the housewife.
it was legendary. I
Your
watched the
insanity.
party 3 times.
Yes.
It was so good.
What
And
were some of your highlights?
the highlight was
I have a few. So.
talking about Donny Osmond.
Oh yeah, I go
Again,
Brittany and Jared and Donnie. Oh my, that's what I mean.
that was Donnie single. No, Donnie's married. Who's doing Donnie? I mean, like the
Brittany was
whole
dating
thing,
10 guys.
10 guys, but I found out it's a BYU dating.
Yes, which is just making out. But then the next step after BYU dating is
Is
soaking.
hot dogging.
Well, no, it's soaking and
No,
docking.
and hot dogging is where you put your dog in the bun
Yeah, but they call it docking.
Oh, docking?
Docking a boat, like it sits there.
Oh, I thought it was hot
No, no, no.
dogging.
The hot
Okay.
dog is the example she used. It's called soaking, or docking, docking. And she said
And
it's like a hot dog, but you put it in the bun and you don't move it around.
move it. It
And the
just
fact that
stays
they
there.
say that the priests or the leaders,
The leader, the church
that they
leader.
sit down for confession and they're like, I didn't move.
Move
I just
or
docked it.
climax. Yeah.
And that they then say, oh, good, you're still part of God. You
You're
can go
still
on your
pure.
merry way.
You're still pure. You're still pure. What's the
I
big deal?
thought Angie was great the way she addressed this with Brittany. I love you, Brittany. I also think that you are great, Brittany, for not saying, well, no, I'm not like, because Lisa Barlow was kind of called on this a few seasons ago about being a Mormon. It was
Right.
when Heather was coming out with the book, and it was like, I can't be her kind of Mormon, but I can be my kind of
Right. Yeah,
Mormon.
yeah,
But
yeah.
she's weird about being me, but yet she does the yes, yes,
But
yes.
she drinks tequila.
Owns a
Yeah.
tequila company,
Right.
but a mediocre one at that. Thank you,
Yeah,
Tom.
mediocre. Thank you, Todd.
We don't think that, Lisa. We love you.
No, I love
You're our
I love
Teresa
it.
of Utah.
Love
But
it.
I
Love
will
it.
say this, that I think that it was very critical. And then Heather telling us if you move in the midst of a soak, I took this down,
Yes.
you crossed the line. Only
Yes.
the good Lord can tell you why it isn't sexed. You're
Yes.
still pure.
I
It
know
was
you're
great.
still pure. It was
In the middle of the
hysterical.
soaking, they have Mary go, I'm bored. And that's why, because Mary knows that her son is not soaking with his girlfriend. They
And
are
even
doing a lot of things.
but that's and the even better one is Angie saying that, did you notice I brought an olive branch? And Brittany saying that's rosemary. It
And
was
then
so
Mary then
good.
jumps on the
Mary
um
got insulted about her hearing aids, and
um
oh, it was
did
all
you watch the
good.
after show?
Yes, I did.
I think, listen, let me tell you guys something. Mary Cosby, you are real, I will say, because you
She's
called
real.
Angie out in the interview, and I hope that
Yeah.
Meredith gives you credit on at the reunion, because we all know that Angie, well, I'm sure that they'll address it prior to. They may not, they may. It may just be unresolved, I'm sure. There is a bit of like and Teresa's like this. It's funny how the ones you and I like the most, the Merediths, the Lisa Barlows, the Teresa Giudices,
Mm,
the Shannon Bedores, they
yeah.
are a little
Messy.
and a little hypocritical.
Oh, yeah, but that's okay. And
That's
you know
why we
what's
like
funny?
it.
Yeah, I love it. And
Yeah.
because I
Can't do
always
it to
thought I
me, but
was
I'm
a
going to do it to
little,
you.
I know, I always thought I was a little Lisa Barlow, but I've decided I'm more Meredith
Yes, you
Marks.
are. You
Yeah, I'm
are.
much more Meredith Marks because I'm just, ah,
I'm more Lisa Barlow.
yeah, I'm more Meredith
I
Marks
can
now
be a
that I
little trashy, but if
analyzed
you
it.
call it out, hell no. I'm opening up an investigation going the distance.
I am much more Meredith Marks, but I watched that scene at camp for it was hysterical.
Yeah.
Everything about it, the comments, the side, they don't hold back
They don't.
insulting
Bronwyn
each
was
other.
great. I think Bronwyn is a fixture on the show because she's
Yeah, I do
wacky as they
too.
come too.
I do too. And you know what? This is a of the I we diss on New York because we can't stand it. But here was an example. Women in a park. Some brought it, argued, fought with each other, insulted each other, and it was enjoyable.
Totally.
New York, they sat there, they went at each other, and they were just so like picky uni. This is the biggest juxtaposition between these two
Do you
shows.
know what it is? Is that there is something beautiful about watching people that like have a lot going on in their lives. They have their own family, they have their own stories. They kind of were friends, they have some connections, they go do fun things, they go do serious things. Their dad dies, they're this. I feel connected to the Salt Lake women. So when I
Yeah,
see
they
them
feel
act out
real.
of character, it's
Yeah.
because I feel a certain way of who their characters are. I don't
Okay.
know who the New York women are.
Yeah, I
They've
still
never
don't
had
after two
consistent
years.
characters. They've
Right.
never been these people like we see Jessel has this illusion of being this uppity girl. Jenna Lyons has this illusion of being a boss. She didn't show up like it. Now, she tried. She didn't show up like it. Now, if I see Bozema St. John get messy, I'm going to be in stitches laughing. There's just something about her. I feel like I already know her. And
Yeah.
something
Right.
about her that seems a little, Bose has this she's clearly,
Warmth.
And she's obsessed with herself for all the right reasons. She should be, but it's not like this. Like, I don't think
Oh, well,
Bozo or
you know
St.
what it
John could
is?
work in fashion. I think she works in entertainment. I
But
don't
you
think
want to
in
know what?
fashion she could be herself.
I think she's self-aware. I do not believe any of those New York girls have any sense of self-awareness, except maybe Rachel and Rebecca Minkoff.
Raquel, yes.
I want
Um,
to keep on calling her Raquel
yeah, I
because it's
know.
the whole Raquel
But see,
Rachel.
even Bethany tried to be a guest shark on Shark Tank. She sold her business for
Yeah, yeah,
$100
yeah.
million. She made her money by being a snarky, trashy girl from Long Island or wherever she's from. Jill's from Long Island.
Yeah, right,
Bethany is now sticking her face in a bowl of pasta and has more of a following and is probably making more money than she ever made, even when
right.
she was herself on The Housewives. Why? Because you could put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. And I don't mean Bethany's a pig. I'm saying more you can try to be something else and you're not. And
Right.
I
Okay.
just think these New
All
York
right.
girls need to go back to who they really are. These Salt Lake girls are being who they are.
They are who they are.
And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
when we
yeah.
see those true people come out and we're expecting them to be a little sheltered and for Mary to be like, oh, most people that have a lot going on at home are sitting there quiet, they're depressed, they're not looking to further insult someone. They're just looking like they maybe scream at someone most. No, Mary is like looking at Brittany being like, no, like
Who are you talking
you're
about?
two-faced.
Jared?
Jared, you're
No.
two-faced. You're
The
this, you're a Mormon and you're dating 10 guys. You're a
yeah,
two-faced.
yes, but the real problem between Mary and Lisa was the outfit.
Oh yeah,
The
totally.
jumpsuit. That is the center of their dispute right now is that they both who wore it better. It was like when you open up Us
Can I tell
magazine
you?
and it says two people in the same outfit. Who wore it better, you
Neither.
know?
They both didn't look great.
I don't think so either.
I
I
look
didn't
better in
think
a tracksuit. I wear one every
Oh my
day.
God, him and his tracksuits. If you
Got one on
only
now.
knew. Yeah.
Got it last week.
He has his own
Matching pants.
style. Okay, now.
Let's get to it.
Okay.
Shabbat was
Let,
Shabbat. It was nice. It was definitely the producer said,
no, Shabbat was fabulous.
okay.
And the fabulous part was once again,
I
Todd.
don't look at it like that for this one. I know so many people that don't use words like that and they're home and their husbands are surprised they use them out.
Don't say that. Don't say
But
that.
he didn't say don't talk. He was saying that was the most normal Todd's been, and they're embellishing it because of how Todd's been leading up to this. I
Yeah, don't say
If
that.
Todd had
Don't
just
say
said that
that.
once, they could have easily spun it as John Barlow saying that to Lisa, which would be like, don't cuss. Like, we don't cuss. Like, don't
Yeah,
cuss.
but see, to me, I was watching the body language during that Shabbat dinner, and it was like Meredith had her family. She was in her home, so her and Seth and the kids were normal. I would say normal. The Barlows were holding hands with each other the whole time the conversation was going on. This was Todd.
Okay, but would you be holding hands? Because I wouldn't be holding hands with my partner. Would you be holding hands with yours?
No, but I'm saying is the Barlows were holding hands. The Marks were like it's their house. They were very relaxed. Todd was like this.
Because probably all he wanted to do was what my dad would do. All right, guys, none of this. We're not talking about it. And he was probably told, we have to film a show, Todd. This isn't your house.
Yeah,
And you're
well,
not
I'm
allowed
going to
to tell
tell
us to
you,
stop
I will
talking about it.
be shocked.
If Todd comes to the reunion.
I will be shocked if they're married in 3 years.
Probably not, because I think what we're seeing, I guess what I'm
Yes.
saying is this: the same way that PK decided to change for the show, Todd is refusing to change for the
Yeah,
show.
no, I do not believe that they
So
will.
it depends what Bronwyn does. It's her move. If
Yes.
she likes her life without cameras and the way Todd is, then they'll stay together. But if
Right.
Bronwyn wants to explore this housewife thing, they're done.
I totally agree. I
Yeah.
totally agree.
So it's
Now
up to her.
her fashion is spectacular.
Amazing.
It is. She is good. And she's just
She doesn't
snarky
have a
enough
freedom.
and everything else. I love Jared. I'm sorry. The whole Brittany being at the dinner and Jared. I like
And
all
Heather,
the messiness
Heather knows the
about
guy
it
she
all.
brought to the other party.
I mean, I just liked everything about the dinner. And it was a
I
good
hope that
dinner.
this is just a lead in. Like, I hope that Brittany didn't get a diamond or a snowflake, because maybe it was one of those where, like, Jared wasn't willing at first to show as much about his life. So they had to create a little bit of a like a distance, whatever. And now he's seeing that it's not that bad and we see him
I,
involved.
okay,
And
I have
maybe
a feeling.
now,
I have a theory on why Brittany didn't get a snowflake.
why?
My theory is that by accident, when I went on my TiVo to watch this episode, I pulled up the first episode of the year
Okay.
when they one at a time went in everybody's home
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they were showing a preview, and I stopped it, and I can identify who Meredith Marks was talking to,
Who?
saying that you record your friends because we know this comes out that somebody records
Is
them.
it Brittany?
It's Brittany. That's who she's yelling at. It's Brittany's hair, and I know it now. So that is why I
So
think
my
she
question is,
might
why is
have,
Brittany doing the after show with Lisa Barlow?
because they're saving face until it all comes out. If they don't have her at
No
all,
way. There's no way. There's no way if Brittany
did
was
Monica on the after show?
not with someone that not like that where they were showing that in the preview. That was they showed that in the preview. That no, Monica was not on the after show after that was leaked. I don't think they had an after show after that was leaked.
I
They
don't know,
all
but I'd
stopped
love to
talking to
know
Monica.
how much they
No, Monica
had
was on with
going.
Mary. And Mary wasn't mad at them and didn't care. She wasn't at the thing. She wasn't a full-time housewife. Monica was on with Mary.
I'm just saying that it could be Brittany who
Or
is
maybe it's one
the
of those
leaker.
moments of Meredith is the one that inboxed Monica and talked about the house thing and it wasn't true. And maybe Meredith is making an accusation of Brittany that's not true.
It could be, but that was my feeling that that could be the reason why she didn't get a snowflake as she should have.
Or maybe Meredith wasn't the one being recorded. So maybe Meredith and Lisa are actually okay with Brittany, but maybe she was recording people that they didn't like Angie, Mary, people that like Brittany didn't
Yeah, I
like
don't
that
know.
much. Because
It
she's
just
already
made me, if you go back and you look at the first episode, the first 5 minutes when they scoop into everybody's house and Mary was like, you record your friends.
maybe she was
It
also
looks like it's
we also
Brittany.
have to tell you something. Maybe she was telling Brittany about
What she said. I get it.
to
I get
someone.
it.
That's what
I
I'm
get
saying.
that
So it
too.
could be,
Okay. So,
yeah.
heavy, heavy,
Yeah.
heavy stuff.
Yeah.
It's I love chicken,
Yeah.
and
Can I
his
just
life was
say
unseasoned. But it's sad because he lives in a beautiful home, and he has obvious advantages a lot of kids don't have in their life. And it's so sad to me to see he's squandering it.
it made me so happy
Oh,
that Mary decided to do the show.
oh yeah,
I think the cameras opened up some accountability that she couldn't escape from, and neither could Robert Jr.
right.
I think that it was all part of Mary. I think it started with production. I think Mary maybe didn't know how bad it was with Robert when she resigned. I don't know who would have done that,
Yeah,
especially
yeah,
if they
yeah.
hadn't tried so like Allie's Aaron put out a post of like, oh, you shouldn't have brought this on the show, yada yada yada. Clearly she's still having trauma from fat camp back in the day. Now,
Poor.
like,
She looks great, Allie. I don't know
yeah,
why.
yeah. No, I don't think she's thinking it through the right way. This is Mary, I don't think thought it was going to be this way.
Okay.
Mary didn't try. The way that Mary leads up to this, I don't believe, and it makes sense because Mary is whatever church she owns. She is a person of
Right.
God.
Yeah.
I think Mary prayed a lot. I think Mary
Okay.
hoped for the best. I think Mary did a
Yes.
lot that she was hoping that someone else was going to help her, God, right?
Yeah.
That didn't happen. I think Mary then decided, you know what? Maybe it's a lot of pot. Maybe it's this. She had already committed to the show. She then was like, okay, hopefully I can help him get his act together. She probably just thought it was laziness. The girlfriend, you could see there was a lot of blame
Yeah.
there. I still
Uh-huh.
think she's blaming her girlfriend a little bit, but as we
Yeah.
know, there can be drug addiction and you blame the significant other
Yeah,
as we
yeah, yeah.
know.
They were obviously both partaking in
Yes,
the
we know that. Whether one
addiction.
introduced the other one, it doesn't matter. But then I think is what happened is that became something where like Mary was like, okay, I'm on this show. And Mary then probably was like, Robert, we have to film because like I'll come on the show. Like, and it's like it doesn't look good. Like, I don't know
I
what they
do not believe, I believe that she went up there and she filmed with her son, and I do not believe that she knew
Oh
she
no,
had
no, she didn't.
no
She
idea
didn't.
what that boy was going
But
to
she's gonna
say.
say like
I
production keeps
mean,
wanting me to film with you. Production keeps wanting me to film with you. And then I think there
maybe, yeah.
a switch might have gone off in his brain. I don't know if it was before this scene or if it was weighing on him of like clearly that, he wasn't fighting, and that's what I got from it. He was defeated. He was broken. He had been deflecting and pushing her away. And that was why I think like there was a lot of isolation on his part. There was a lot of disassociation in his part. There was a lot that he was pushing away. That's why she had to, there's only a few times that he came out and asked for 10 donuts. Okay. Like, and I think Mary was like, oh no, like he's closing off, something's wrong. And this is where I think the production, and I say this, I don't know if we'll ever know. Mary, as much as everyone's saying, oh, Mary, thank God for you, you're being so progressive, you opened up your door. Production also, like these are people that live in LA, most of them, they're Hollywood people,
Yeah,
mental health's a
they've
big
seen
deal.
stuff. They
They've
they
seen
know
shit.
more
And
that's
I think
going
people
on
behind the
maybe than
camera might be
Mary.
like, listen,
Than
Mary,
Mary.
like,
Yeah.
Mary, there might be something going on here. That
Yeah.
might not have been for the show. And then, but then again, if a producer says it to you, Mary might have put it all together. Now, Allie, if this had been kept off the show, I just want to say Robert Jr. might be dead right now.
I agree.
I think
I
the show
agree.
was needed. I think that everything happens for a reason. Mary, if you didn't know about this before you agreed to go back on the show, you should have more faith in God than you've ever had, because there was a reason
It's
why
all been
you're on the
exposed.
show, and there's a reason why this needed to come out like it did. Obviously, she walked into that scene thinking it was just pot or whatever, cannabis, something. She then found out it was Xanax. And then let's just say, like,
Molly's,
yeah, Xanax,
cocaine,
Molly, Xanax, cocaine, Xanax, and
acid,
acid.
E.
Yep.
The idea that he did 10, 30 milligrams of
I
oxys
don't know enough about Oxy.
blows
And you
my
used to be in a medical field, so you know what people get when they
mind.
get surgery.
I can't. But first of all, he mustn't have ever gone to the bathroom, is all I'm going to say, because he must have been so darn constipated. It wasn't funny. Um, my mother, your
Grandmother.
grandmother, was in a lot of debilitating pain
Yeah.
at the end of her, towards the end of her life. And they had her on like 5 milligrams of Oxycontins, um, 3 times a day.
Yeah.
I mean, and they would wipe her out. Now, of course, she was an older woman, frail, but she was probably weighed more than Robert does, don't you think? I mean, she wasn't a big woman, but Robert's
Probably.
pretty thin. But the idea that he could do 300 milligrams of Oxycontin in one day, and I saw what 5 milligrams did to
Yeah.
my mother, blows my
But that's why he
mind.
needed those other drugs to lift him up. Like it was like, and it was just, and I wanted, you and I talked about
The
this offline. Like I sometimes don't realize with my own story, which is not like that, but was bad.
Thank God.
But I wouldn't like that if I didn't have my partner, if I hadn't come from loving parents that provided for me, had a college education, had a job, had so many things, I would have been on the streets. Like it's just plain and simple. Like,
True. Well, he wasn't on the streets either,
but
but
he would
because
have been
he's
on the streets
wealthy.
without Mary.
Right.
That
Right.
is so when people say like, oh, like, because I had people in my life, including extended family, that were like,
Mm,
oh, was the cocaine that bad? And it's
yeah.
like, yeah, it was that bad. You just haven't seen someone that makes a lot of money and that comes from money using cocaine because it's very easy to hide it. Like, but when you
Right.
don't know drug use like that, and you know drug use as someone that looks like a junkie, not someone that can show up like to the office, this, that, everything else.
Right.
Now, Robert comes from that. So that's probably why she didn't see him that much because he had the idea of like, I can't let my mom see me like this and this out like this and this wild and
Yeah.
strung.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It was with the junkies when he would be strung out. And so I saw a lot of like, and I hope that everyone that watched can see that this, just because Robert's in a little cushy house with a sign above his bedroom door that says Robert
Robert
Jr.,
Jr.
doesn't make his drug usage any different than those that don't live in a house, don't have a bedroom, period, and are going from shelter to shelter, begging for money and taking dirty needles off the streets. He just had a
Right.
different deck of cards filled with the same drugs.
Now, let me ask you, and this is very raw. If you don't want to
No, I
answer
don't
it,
mind. Yeah.
don't. When you were self-medicating, did you have a death wish?
I never did.
Okay.
I
Because
thought
Robert
about
Jr. does
I
or
didn't have
did.
any
He
emotional
didn't want to
attachment to
live.
suicide.
Okay.
I had my brain went to weird extreme moments of, oh my God, what if that happened? Like, I used to live on the 33rd floor in Boston, and I thought to myself, oh my God, what if I ever jumped from here? I would die.
Because you were high. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
like, yeah, like, but it wasn't because I was so miserable in my life that I would want to jump. It was more like I had these thoughts of like, what if the drug took over my brain and I jumped? Like they
Oh,
think
okay.
Niall Horan was like on some sort of a drug. That wasn't Niall Horan. No, it was the one that died. Oh my God, I just missed death. The boy band guy who died, who's the one that killed himself, One
Oh, the
Direction.
guy from One Direction?
Yeah, whatever. Oh my God, I'm so bad. I wasn't a One Direction fan, but the one that passed
I
recently,
wasn't. Yeah,
the
yeah,
one that
yeah.
passed
He
recently,
jumped out of the wall
he
with
jumped,
the
and it
yeah.
wasn't. I mean, it was because they believe
He was
hallucination more
right.
than like he hated it.
Right, 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 right.
So that's my thing.
Um,
I
um,
think that he didn't like the attention. I think that a lot came with it. Mary's also on a show. A type of person that's on a reality show clearly is not the most like there's a level of vanity with that. There's a little ego.
yeah, I get that,
His
but
mother and
he
father is also his rumored grandfather. Like there's a lot
yeah, I
there.
mean,
There's a
there's a
lot.
lot of stuff. I get that. I totally get that, but when he said, I didn't want to be alive and you're the only reason I didn't. I mean,
If I
you're
was Mary, I would have said, "No wonder why my friends say I'm spicy. I was adding that spice to your chicken."
no, that was weird. Um, um, I just oh it was, and I said to Andrew on our Beverly Hills, it was interesting review that
They
Bravo
know we're not.
chose.
They know we're not on the show.
Yeah, yeah, that Bravo chose a week to deal with every single housewife had a heavy episode. We
Yep.
had drug addiction.
But
We
this was
had
the most real.
abortion in New York. We had a
But this was
divorce.
real.
Oh,
Like
this
Erin
was
knew she was talking about
raw, something
abortion
that
with her
happened to
dad.
her 20 years ago, right? And
Dorit and PK are
our
separated.
adults,
Even if they
right?
didn't know, even if Dorit didn't know what was going to come out of PK's mouth, they knew they were separated. Mary, and I think PK knew what he was going to say in that lunch.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah. I
believe that
mean, he was
Robert
so
Jr.
funny.
was going to disclose all that when he sat down with when she walked in his room.
I'm sure that if he looks and watches this back, and who knows what else he shared that was edited.
I think he's going to be so grateful for it because I'm hope he's
I
getting the
hope
help he
so.
needs.
I hope
And I
so.
hope that they also like have prepared him for this. But I also think that when there is a time to look at the comments, Mary should be showing Robert all of the love on social media for Robert.
I hope Robert ends up okay because we did have another housewife, Laurie Peters or Peterson,
Yep.
whatever it was, Peters on
Peterson.
OC, and Josh didn't make it. Her son fell
But it
into
was
a
a different,
lifetime.
they didn't address it this way. And we're at a
No,
different
they
time.
didn't address it
Yeah.
this way at all, but he was in and out of juvie. He was getting arrested. Then he ended up away for years and he ended up
I want you to know something.
dying. It's sad.
I think Robert Jr.'s generation looks at drug addiction a lot more like alcoholism than you do and than I even do. I mean, the stigma around drugs compared to just addiction in general, they look at being addicted to food and or being having a relationship with food in one direction or another. They look at that as an addiction. They look at mental health the same way. And so I will say, Robert, it's not society is not going to judge you if
No, no,
you
they
get the
won't.
help you need. In a way,
If
this could make you more powerful.
yeah. And it's just sad to me that he's about 20.
Yeah.
He's gotten deep into a drug culture at a
But he
very,
also has
very
a lot of life to live and he has so much
yeah,
that
he
he can
does,
do
but I
and
mean,
he
like
hasn't created as much division.
it happened so quick. He said he took his first Xanax at 16 and he's a full raging addict right now. Like you
Yeah.
said, who would be on the street. That was a very, very short time. And but let's face it,
That's
unless
how it
he
happens, though. I mean,
no, I know,
Delonte
but
West, the
unless
basketball player that played for the Celtics and played for the Mavericks, just died of a drug overdose because they found him on the street in Dallas. Mark Cuban tried to help him, and
oh,
Mark Cuban, billionaire, still tried to help him after because he used to own the team that he played for, but an
right,
NBA player
right.
that made millions of dollars,
Yeah.
and he's dead now because when you're in addiction, like it can get bad so quickly. I
Yeah,
mean,
obviously it did for Robert, because 4 years is a very short time to go from a couple of Xanax to Molly's,
and as you and I know,
oxys,
also like
cocaine,
drinking, using drugs and
Adderall.
alcohol can have impacts on people's bodies. And you can
Oh,
use
big
drugs for
time.
years, like I
Yeah.
did, and make a choice to leave it and knock on wood, hopefully never have a medical issue long term because of it. And then you and I both know people that can just drink maybe a little bit more than they should, and then something could happen to them with their body and they could be dead. And it's like,
That's
and it's horrible.
unbelievable.
It's
Yeah.
horrible to think about.
Um,
So he's
I
lucky.
I just want to say this to anybody out there. Like they said, if you need help, contact suicide, drug
Don't contact
addiction.
us. I
Don't
am not an
contact us.
expert.
We're not
No, we're not experts. I
experts.
speak from a personal perspective. That's
He
it.
does. That's it,
Yeah.
right? And I just speak from his aunt knowing
But
some
is
of
a
what, only
personal
this
perspective
much
from
of
you
when he
too.
went through. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
only know some of what
But you
you
also know
went
what you
through.
went through because you can see such a clear difference in
And
who I
you,
am.
yes, but I didn't live it, so to
No,
speak. So I'm not going to make it out like I know more than I do.
no.
But
But also the people that struggle with it also know like when you witness it, like you deserve your time to heal too. I always say that to my partner. Like sometimes he doesn't like talk about it as much. And I'm like, you can talk about it. Like I
yeah,
was a disaster. It doesn't mean that like it
it
should be talked
was.
about,
Right.
but it's something where it's like it's the reality. And so it's like, I think Robert Jr. had to sign a waiver to do the show.
True.
Clearly, part of him was okay with this coming out because anyone that was operating in that much solitude and secrecy would say at age 20, Mom, I don't want to be on the show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just want to say this to anybody out there. If you're dealing with something, just remember what Mary said. And there's so many people who didn't wake up today.
Yep.
And that
And
life
then
really
love.
is
Yeah.
precious and it's a gift. And no matter what you're going through today, chances are in a week, a month, a year, 10 years, a decade, you won't be going through that anymore. And so
And being
just
dead doesn't have to be the solution.
that isn't the solution. It's
Yeah.
getting help is the
Yeah.
solution.
Yeah.
And because for 9 times out of 10 or 95 times out of 100, the people around you are there for you and they do
Totally.
want you to get better because so that's what I would just want to say is that no matter what you're going through at the moment, this too shall
And
pass.
in 10 years, you keep it up, you'll be dead. If you kill yourself, you'll be dead. But you
Yeah.
won't be if you try to get help. There's a chance you won't be. So
Yeah.
you say that, you're dead no matter
Yeah,
what if you
God
commit
bless.
suicide.
On Watch What Happens Live, Andy did say Mary wanted everybody
Everyone to
to
know that he's
know
doing well.
that he's doing well.
Yeah.
I don't think he is. I think it's a journey. It's going to be a
It's a
journey for
journey.
him.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's a
journey.
journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
And
everybody. We're not going to do a mess
no,
because
there's no mess.
there's no reason. That's
Yeah.
how I feel about this episode. I
Yeah.
mean, the mess might have just been the,
Addiction is a mess. And
no,
if you are going through it,
and I'll never
feel
look
as
at
much
hot.
courage.
The only thing I will say
Oh,
that
a
was
hot dog. I'll never
messy,
look at a
and
hot
I'm
dog
never
again.
gonna look at a hot dog the same way again. The next time I'm in Costco, I'm just gonna think about Costco, Brittany, Jared, having
Yep.
a picture of Brittany in the cart and the $1.50
Between the
hot dog.
Milwaukee Bucks and Gianna Satana who I can't look at now and watch him play basketball without thinking about Angie, pretending that
I will
Damian
never be
Lillard,
able to have
pretending that Damian Lillard was the
a
Greek
hot
one,
dog
but he
again at
wasn't.
Costco. I
Love you
guess I'll have
guys.
to go to pizza.
Follow. Love ya. Bye.
Bye.